Hey there guys, PurpleMarine81 here. Today we are going to do some comparison on the Rock Island Armory CS model. This is a little compact size, and my full-size government. Both of these, as I said, they're Rock Island Armory products. This has obviously had some substantial work done to it. This is straight factory. There's nothing been done to this at all. This is like basically what they look like coming out of the box. Now, I had the chance to fire this, so I do know kind of what it does in that regard. And I'm just going to kind of go over some of the specs on it, some of the obvious differences between the two, and then some other things that some people might not know, and just sort of a comparison thing. You know, if you may be trying to figure out like, oh, do I want this one, or do I want that one? Whichever one you want to roll with, maybe this will help you kind of decide there. Alright, let's go over some basic specs here on this guy. It is 7 5/16 length overall. It is 1.5 inches shorter than the government. You can see there. So it is quite a bit shorter. Weight wise, that's even more of a drastic difference. Between these two unloaded, there is a 16-ounce difference. So you're going to drop a full pound going from this to this unloaded. So obviously, if you're thinking about something with concealed carry, this is going to be a lot easier for you. It's going to be a lot lighter weight. It's going to be shorter. Just some common sense things there. But don't get me wrong. This thing still is a chunk of metal. It's not like carrying, a PF9 or something like that. It's got some heft to it. But that's not necessarily a bad thing, because when I did shoot this, all that nice weight to it helps control that 45 round. It's very accurate for its size, surprisingly accurate for its size. You wouldn't really expect that level of accuracy out of something that only has a 3.5 inch barrel. But it does the job quite nicely. Let me see what else we got. It is 7+1. So it's not the full 8 that like something like this has, but one nice thing is that it will accept the 8-rounder. So even this massive 10-round power mag still functions in these weapons. So if you do have other 1911s, you don't have to you can still use your old mags inside this too, or other mags I should say. So that's nice. Let's see what else. We got some loaded. You're looking at 2.43 pounds. Empty 2.16. Let me see. As I said, this is not the full 8. Let me see. Sorry, I'm trying to read off some of these specs here. Trigger pull. It says 4.0 to 5 pounds. There's almost no way that trigger pull is that heavy. 1911s usually have a good trigger on them, but this thing is like insane. It is so lightweight. I mean, you barely pull the trigger. And yes, folks, they are clean. Oh my gosh, they're clean too. But I mean, it's just itty bitty. Here, I'll do it with this hand. I mean, you barely put any weight on that sucker and it goes off. I mean, to me, the trigger on this thing feels closer to probably about, I would say about 2.5 pounds, maybe 3 at the most. It is insane light, which is kind of surprising because on mine, it feels a bit heavier than that. It does feel like more like that 4.0 to 5 pound trigger area, but it still does have a nice trigger on it. Let's see, what else do we have? Now, okay, I'll get into some of the differences. The one thing that I don't really care for is because this is a little bit different to where it does not have a barrel bushing. So you can see it doesn't have the bushing like the traditional 1911 does. It's just this reverse plug on the bottom, on the guide rod. Now, when you are disassembling this is the only gripe I have about this, that they designed it this way. Give me a second here to get this taken apart so I can show you what I'm talking about. Breakdown, initially you think is real easy because all you got to do is pull that back to the typical, the standard notch. Pull it out, and then it comes apart. So you're thinking, oh, okay, well that's awesome. You know, it field strips like a freaking Glock or something like that. Not exactly like a Glock, but you get what I mean. You don't have to take any kind of bushing out the front. So it seems like it's a lot better, but no, not really. Because what you have to do from this point is, all right, let me see if I can get in shot here. All right, you see that little hole there on the guide rod? You have to push that up past the bushing here, and then you have to take like a paper clip or something and put it inside there, and then release it to pull this bushing out, so you can take this whole assembly out of there and the barrel. I don't really like that, because anything to where you got to have something that small, that just doesn't seem practical to me at all. I would rather have the standard style breakdown, because I can take this one down with my hands. I don't have to have tools for that. And I don't really care for that at all, that setup. But other than that, as I said, it's a good pistol. You can't beat the prices on these things. Sorry, folks, I'm trying to get this back together for you real quick here. Sometimes it wants to fight you a little bit. So don't get me wrong, I'm not trying to say that it's a bad pistol or anything like that, but I just don't care for that design personally, and most people are never going to have to do that in an everyday situation, so it's probably not an issue for most people, but I would prefer the traditional breakdown style of one of these than this. So there you go. That's kind of just my initial impressions on it so far. Overall, great pistol. They give you a lot of the extras that you see on higher end ones. You've got the skeletonized hammer, the extended beaver tail, the grip safety bump. It is not ambi controlled, which I'm not sure if I really like that or not. And the controls are just the standard safety lever. It's not the extended like these are. Let me get this out of the way. See how these are extended and also obviously ambi controlled. So it doesn't do that. But overall, it's a good gun. You do get that full size grip, which is nice. It's remarkably very, very similar. This does have just like the standard bladed sights. It's not the Novak styled like what's on mine. But there you go. I don't want to ramble on too much longer. So if you have any questions or anything, feel free to leave them. I'm sure I probably missed something along the way. And as always, thanks for watching, guys. Purple Rain 81 out.